Some wars are remembered for their generals, others for their weapons. But history is often shaped by quiet men who never sought attention and never asked to be remembered. Men who did not chase glory or recognition. Men who simply did their duty when the moment demanded it. Hershel Woody Williams was one of those men. He was born in 1923 in a small town in West Virginia, a place defined by hard soil, long days, and simple lives. He grew up in poverty, working farms from an early age, learning that nothing came easily and that responsibility was not optional. Life taught him discipline long before the military ever did. There was nothing remarkable about his childhood, no signs of future greatness, no grand ambitions, just a young American shaped by faith, hard work, and love of country. When World War II spread across the world and reached its darkest hours, it reached even the quiet hills of West Virginia. Like millions of others, Woody followed the news closely. He watched as young men left home and did not return. He understood what was at stake, and when the time came, he did not hesitate. He answered the call. In 1943, Hershel Williams joined the United States Marine Corps. He was small in stature, just over 5 feet tall, and many believed he was not built for war. Some doubted he would last through training. But war does not measure men by height or appearance. War measures resolve, endurance, and the willingness to stand firm when fear takes hold. Woody trained hard, endured every hardship placed before him, and earned his place among the Marines being sent into the Pacific. The Pacific War was unforgiving. The enemy did not retreat easily. Islands were defended inch by inch, often turned into fortresses carved from rock and jungle. By early 1945, Woody found himself heading toward one of the most brutal and consequential battles in American history. The island of Iwo Jima. Iwo Jima was small, barren, and volcanic. Its black sand hid danger beneath every step. The Japanese had spent months preparing for invasion, building a vast underground network of tunnels, bunkers, and reinforced positions. Machine guns were hidden inside mountains. Artillery was invisible until it fired. Every approach was covered. Every advance was costly. Woody Williams was assigned one of the most dangerous roles on that battlefield. He became a flamethrower operator. Everyone knew what that meant. Flamethrowers were heavy, slow to maneuver, and impossible to hide. The enemy targeted them immediately. Soldiers carrying them were marked men. Most did not survive long. Woody understood the risk fully, and still he accepted the assignment without hesitation. On February 23, 1945, American forces were locked in a deadly stalemate on the black sands of Iwo Jima. The island shook under constant artillery fire as Japanese machine guns raked the battlefield without mercy. Woody's unit was pinned down, trapped by overlapping fields of fire that made any movement nearly impossible. Marines pressed themselves into the volcanic sand, searching for cover that barely existed. Men were falling. Orders were shouted and lost in the noise. Smoke hung heavy in the air, burning the lungs with every breath. Explosions tore through the ground, sending ash and rock into the sky. The heat from the black sand rose through boots and uniforms, while the sharp crack of gunfire echoed without pause. Forward movement had stopped completely. Retreat was just as deadly. The battlefield had reached a breaking point, and time was running out. The situation was desperate. Every Marine there understood the truth. If the enemy positions were not silenced, the advance would fail. More lives would be lost. The line would not move. Someone had to move forward. Someone had to do what others could not. Someone had to accept that survival was uncertain. Woody did. Alone, he rose from the relative safety of cover and stepped into open ground under relentless fire. With a flamethrower strapped to his back and demolition charges in his hands, he moved across terrain where few men could survive for more than seconds. Bullets tore into the sand around him. Shrapnel sliced through the air. Each explosion threatened to knock him down for good. Still, he pressed on. Every step required absolute focus. Every movement demanded unshakable resolve. Fear was present, but it was mastered. Hesitation would have meant death, not only for him, but for the men pinned down behind him. He reached the first enemy bunker and unleashed fire into its opening, neutralizing the position. The gunfire ceased. Without pause, he moved toward the next fortified nest. Again, flames poured into the darkness. Again, the enemy fell silent. One by one, the positions that had halted the advance were destroyed. When his fuel ran low, Woody turned back and crossed the same deadly ground to resupply. When explosions knocked him to the ground, he rose again. When exhaustion threatened to overtake him, he forced himself forward. Time lost meaning. Only the mission mattered. For 4 relentless hours, Hershel Woody Williams advanced alone across that battlefield. 7 heavily fortified machine gun nests fell that day because of him. Each position destroyed allowed his fellow Marines to rise from the sand. Each one opened the path forward. Each one saved lives. Slowly, the pressure lifted. The advance resumed. Against overwhelming odds, against fire that should have stopped any man, Woody survived. For his actions on Iwo Jima, Hershel Woody Williams was awarded the Medal of Honor, the highest recognition for valor in the United States. He accepted it without pride or celebration. He never called himself a hero. He said he had only done his duty. He always insisted that the true heroes were the men who never made it home. After the war ended, Woody returned to civilian life. He married, raised a family, worked, and lived quietly. But the war never truly left him. He carried the memory of fallen Marines with him every day. Rather than seek attention or recognition, he devoted decades of his life to honoring those who had made the ultimate sacrifice. He worked tirelessly to support Gold Star families, believing that remembrance was a duty, just as service had been. As the years passed, the generation that fought World War II slowly faded. One by one, their voices grew silent. Eventually, Woody Williams became the last living Medal of Honor recipient from that war, a living connection to a time when the fate of the world had hung in the balance. When he spoke not of victory or hatred, but of responsibility, sacrifice, and brotherhood. In 2022, at the age of 98, Hershel Woody Williams passed away. But his story did not end with him. Stories like his are not meant to fade with time. They are meant to remind us of what quiet courage looks like, of what duty truly means, of what ordinary Americans are capable of when history calls and there is no room for hesitation. Hershel Woody Williams never asked to be remembered, but America remembers him because he represents something timeless. Duty without hesitation, courage without pride, service without expectation. In a world on fire, he stepped forward, and because he did, others lived.